0 is a kind of cool number. A lot of weird stuff happens around 0. That not as many weird things happen around any other number. Today we're going to be focusing on zeros. Find something that'll work for you, gentlemen. Alright, I need 3 students to come up and be my groups. Aiden, Kylie, William, come on up. You can bring nothing but yourself. You. Sorry, probably should be more specific. Alright, so Kylie, stand here. William, stand here. And Aiden, stand down here. Alright, here are my groups. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Does that make sense? Alright. Each student is going to get 0 pencils. Hold out your hands. Ready? 0 pencils for you. 0 pencils for you. 0 pencils for you. Each student got 0 pencils. How many pencils are there? Not a trick question. Mason? 0. 0. How many groups did I have? Someone raise your hand and tell me how many groups did I have, Bria? 3. I had 3 groups of
0.
How many pencils did they get, Kylie?
0.
0. So 3 groups of 0 still means that they had how many pencils?
0.
0. Weird. Weird. Go ahead and sit down my groups. Thank you for your 0 pencils. You can keep those. That's so weird. So it says, what multiplication equation can we come up with based on our situation? We just did that. Go ahead and write it. 3 groups of, remember this multiplication symbol means groups of 0 equals 0. You're writing that down, please. Why was the product 0? Product is just a fancy way of saying answer to a multiplication equation. Why is the product 0? Dorian? Okay, so why is the answer 0? Because this is my 0 pencils right here. This is my 0 pencils. So why is my answer then 0? Ashlyn?
Because you have nothing to add in the groups.
I have nothing in my groups. 3 groups of nothing is still nothing. I'm writing, therefore you should be writing 3 groups of nothing. It's still going to be nothing. It doesn't really matter how many groups of nothing I have. If I wrote it, you write it. 3 groups of nothing is still going to be nothing. So what do we think the product, or the answer, for 5 times 0 is going to be? Or 5 groups of 0. What do you think that answer is going to be? Gio?
0.
0. What about 0 times 6? 0 groups of 6 things. What do you think that product's going to be, Billy?
0.
0. If I have no groups, where am I going to put my things? Nowhere. They don't exist. They don't exist. Alright, we're going to get to that in a second. Here's a little trick that I want you to write down. Anything times 0 will equal 0. Does that make sense? Thomas, if I have 1 billion groups of nothing. What do I have?
Zero.
I still have nothing. I still have 0. Even if I have 7,486 times 0, it's still 0. It doesn't matter if I make all of you stand up and I give you all 0 pencils. How many pencils have I given you? 0. It's still 0. It's still 0. Alright, what we're going to be working with next, so once you have this written down, go ahead and get out a glue stick. This will be a very, very important page in your math notebook. It is a mini multiplication chart. We're going to talk about how to read this. This will not be the first time that you use it. And we'll talk about how we're going to be filling it in. So this is an incredibly important piece of paper. You're going to glue it on the next blank page. Even if you have room, I want it on the next blank page. Ashlyn, question?
Is anything times 1 still 1?
Nope. We're not on ones. We're just on zeros, Ashlyn. Kate?
That way you have to so you have 3 and then you have 4, 2, 3, 4, and then it's on the bottom.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start passing these out as soon as you get it glued on the next blank page. Every time we start mastering these multiplication facts, we're going to put them in this chart. So again, you're going to glue it on the next blank page, even if there's still room under your zeros, because I want this on a separate page. What?
I'm not going to use it.
Huh?
I'm going to use it.
Okay. Fantastic. So the way you read this chart is all the boxes on the inside are the products. They are the answers. The numbers at the top and down the side, those are the factors, or the parts to the multiplication equation. So I want you to draw an arrow. We'll make our little fancy box like this. Oops. Down at the bottom. All the blank spaces are the products. And then I'll put AKA answers to our equation. All those little boxes, Bria, I don't know why you're not writing yet. All those little empty boxes are where the answers go. And then our top row and our side row are called factors, aka parts of our equation. So I'm going to just move this for a second. I'll come back. So in our equation up here, my factors are 3 and 0. Those are the parts to the equation. My product, or my answer, is 0. Does this make sense a little bit? Alright. Go ahead and write that down so we know what the different parts on our multiplication chart are, and then we'll talk about how to read it. Alright, the way you read a multiplication chart, or really any kind of chart like this, is you're going to put one finger on a factor, let's say 5, and another finger on another factor, let's say 2, and I'm going to go in those rows, sorry my fingers are touching the thing, and wherever they meet, that's where my answer is. Does this make sense a little bit? So if my answer is smiley face, I'm going to put my finger on the 3, right here. And I'm going to put my finger on the 3 right here. And I'm going to go down these lines. And where they meet, that's my answer. So 3 times 3 is smiley face. Does this make sense? Okay. So we're going to fill in with what we know. So put your finger at the 0 at the very top. And put your finger on the 0. So put your finger here. And then put your finger right here. So one finger, one finger. Drag them to where they meet. Should be this box right here. Super short. What is 0 times 0? Kylie? 0. With your pencil, fill in that box. 0. Yep. Aiden, do not go ahead of me. I know. I'm just informing you. Alright, put your finger on 0. And now we're going to go down to 0 times 1. What is 0 groups of 1? Barrett? 0. What about 0 groups of 2, Mason? What is the product of 0 groups of 2?
0.
0. What about 0 groups of 3, Thomas? 0. Hunter, what about 0 groups of 4?
0.
Nick, 0 groups of 5? Everybody, 0 groups of 6?
0.
0 groups of 7?
0.
0 times 8?
0.
0 times 9?
0.
0 times 10?
0.
0 times 1.5 billion?
0.
0 times 875,000?
0. We can do 0
Hmm.
times 1,277. 0.
Is that the only thing on my multiplication chart I can fill out?
No.
Just with my knowledge of zeros, can I fill out anything else?
Yes.
What can I fill out? I'm just multiplying on 0. I don't want to multiply anything else. Is there anything else I can fill out? Kate?
The ones in the top.
Why can I fill out the ones in the top? What is the equation going to sound like?
Same thing as the other one that we just did.
It is not going to sound the same. Because we did 0 times 1 and 0 times 2 and 0 times 3. What is the one on the side or the top row going to sound like?
Same.
It's not the same. So just now we did 0 times 0, 0 times 1, 0 times 2, 0 times 3. Kate's totally right. We can also fill out this top row right here. But it's going to sound different. Instead of saying 0 times 1, I'm now going to say 1 times 0.
Oh.
That sounds different. But now I have one group of 0. Oh man, 1 times 0.
0.
0? Is it?
Yeah.
What about 2 groups of 0?
0.
Still 0. 3 groups of 0?
0.
4 groups of 0?
0.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All of those times 0 are going to be
0.
Look how much you already know. We filled out a lot. We filled out a lot. How come you think we can fill out multiple columns, multiple spots in our multiplication chart?
Yes.
This is a why question. Why? Why can we do that? So at first we only had one column. But then Kate said, hey, we can do this going across. Why? They don't sound the same. Why? Ashley, why?
Because they're different numbers.
So how can we do it then if they're different numbers?
You can go 1 times 0, 1 times 1, 1 times 2.
No, that's not 0. How are we able to fill out this column going down and going across? Billy, what do you think?
Because all the equations are just going to equal the same thing because they all have zero.
Okay. Kylie, what do you think?
I think that we could fill out the top because it's like the same thing that we did for the bottom, except it's just backwards.
So we had an equation of 0 times 1, and then we had an equation 1 times 0. Are those exactly the same?
Yes.
Are those exactly the same?
No.
No, they are not exactly the same. That is a different order.
They equal the same, but they're in a different order.
But they have the same value. Multiplication. If I'm writing, you're writing, please. And this can go on the same page as the zeros that we were originally taking notes. Multiplication and addition are really, really cool because you can change up the order of your equation and your answer is going to stay the same. Hunter, what?
You can put on the discovery.
Yes. Yes. So again, multiplication and addition are super cool because you can change up your parts to your equation and your answer stays the same. For instance, if I did 3 plus 2, what is 3 plus 2? I know, tricky math. What is 3 plus 2? Bria? 5. If I change up my parts and I now say 2 plus 3, does my answer change? No. It's just in a slightly different order. I might add the things a little bit differently, but it's still going to give me the same answer.
Same answer because they're just switched up the groups.
Very good, Kylie. So Kylie's talking about in multiplication, we have 0 groups of 1. That's going to look a little different than 1 group of 0, just because it's going to be grouped a little differently. But it's still going to give you the same answer. This really cool discovery in math has a fancy name. What is it, Aiden? Commutative property. So everything you just wrote about multiplication and addition, being able to change up the order, that has a name, and it's called commutative property. So you need to make sure you know this because you are going to use commutative property to your advantage all the time. Come to the page. I know, zeros are so easy. We've mastered them. Because I bet I can ask you any 0 multiplication question and you're going to know the answer. Alright, discovering ones is the title of the next blank page. Okay, do you have a question? I need 3 students at the front of my room to be my groups. Cade, Hunter, Bria. Bring nothing but yourself. Someone in my audience, how many groups do I have? Okay, don't get up on my first group. Alright, Hunter, face the crew. There we go. How many groups do I have? Not a trick question. William, how many groups do I have? 3. I have 3 groups. Each one receives 1 pencil. Put your hand up. 1 for you. 1 for you. 1 for you. How many pencils were there, or are there, I guess I should say? How many pencils are there? Billy? 3. Tricky. Tricky. I have 3 groups, and each one received 1 pencil, and the total is 3. Come put your pencils back and go have a seat. What's going to be my equation? Where is my words? Oh, here they are. What's going to be my equation for that problem? Oh, this is not a trick question. I should see lots more hands than I do. Lainey? What's my equation? Nope.
No.
30 times 1 equals, how many pencils did I have at the end? 3. 3 groups of 1 pencil each equals 3 total pencils. Go ahead and write this equation. We're going to label it 3 groups. 1 pencil each. Yep. So again, 3 groups of 1 pencil each equals 3 total pencils.
Anything times 1 equals other number.
Beautiful, Bria. Well done. Anything times 1. I think that looks like a 1. I know. A couple of you are on the right track, too. So in my case of 7 times 1, the other number in that equation is 7. So my answer is also 7. 1 times 9, the other number is 9. You got this written down, Billy? Get out of space and into Miss Miller's land. Stop messing with your teeth. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. Go throw that away, please. And wash your hands. Yes! We can fill in our multiplication chart with more facts. We just mastered our ones. So let's go to our multiplication chart. Alright, we're going to start here. Put your finger on the 1 up at the top. And then we're going to put our finger on the 0. Where they meet is the answer. What is 1 times 0? Barrett? 0. Hey, that's already filled in. Yeah, it's right here. 1 times 0 is 0. What about 1 times 1? 1 times 1. What is 1 times 1? Gio? 1. No, 1 times 2. 1 times 2. 2. What about 1 times 3? Aiden? 3. 1 times 4? 4. Kylie's the only one that knows 1 times 4. William, what's 1 times 5? 5. Cade, 1 times 6?
6.
Ashlyn, 1 times 7.
7.
Nick, 1 times 8.
8.
Billy, 1 times 9. Lainey, 1 times 10.
10.
Is there anything else I can fill out on my multiplication chart? Ooh, Ladorian?
You can do like the one on the side, and then like the other numbers on the top.
I can. All the bonus points. Why can I do that?
Because anything times 1 equals that.
Huh?
Because all the numbers on the top, they are, they're kind of like the numbers.
They are kind of like the numbers on the
Like
side.
The same thing, except you can switch it around.
Yes, what's that called? You're right there, Dorian. What's that fancy, cool thing in math where we can switch around our equation and our answers? Commutative property. Yes. So now we can say 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1. Go in a slightly different order. What is 2 times 1, Hunter? 2 groups of 1. It is still 2. What about 3 groups of 1? That's a little bit different. Barrett, what's 3 groups of 1? 3. 4 groups of 1, Kylie? 4. 5 groups of 1, Bria? 5. Geo, 6 groups of 1?
6.
7, 8, 9, 10. I think we can all fill them out. So we are going to stop here, but by now, look at how much of our multiplication chart we've already filled out. You know quite a bit of multiplication already. That's awesome. You are masters of your zeros and your ones. And moving forward, each day we're going to focus on either a group of multiplication facts, like today we did zeros and ones, or we'll focus on just one, depending on how tricky it is. Does this make sense? Alright, on the page where your mini multiplication chart is, dog ear it. Dog ear that page. Because we are going to use this page every day. So we need to be able to flip back to it quickly. Once you've got that page dog-eared, turn to your math choice board. And you may get started on your math choice board, please.